Hello everybody and welcome back. In today's video we have Operation Shoulder 1.16.3 for Hearts of Iron 4, which this is I believe a war effort patch, not necessarily a regular patch, which makes sense from what I've skimmed through this already. Before we get into it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, so to start out with, we have a little bit of a balance change. So reading through this, they wanted to change up how armored cars work. They wanted to actually make people potentially use armored cars. So like they've increased like how they work a bit, and then like reduced their cost, and then also made it where different things like artillery equipment technologies now give bonuses. Like when you research more artillery, they do buff the armored cars, which is good. It also they did it with tanks and stuff. They made tanks a little bit more expensive, as well as like not as a little bit worse. Although they do now, self-propelled anti-air artillery gets buffs from the anti-air, which that is pretty good. Little good change, but this I don't know how much it's going to affect it. Like interwar tank costs have doubled, and then like you got like the production of 1.25 to 2.35. I don't know how much this is going to affect it. It might be a good change. It might not be. We'll have to see. They could all it'll be get some tests. We'll be testing it out. We'll see how that goes. But I'm not going to say it's terrible yet, but I'm not really sure. I'm not a numbers guy on this. We'll have to see. They also did it with like the submarine detection on light hulls and cruiser hulls. They buffed them up, so looks like they're nerfing subs a little bit. Again, I'm not sure if that's needed or not, and we'll have to see. So you guys can let me know if it's really bad or if it's good. I'll let you my opinion when I get around to that. They did where mobile doctrine will now affect like armored car recon and motorized recon and all that, which is really good. Breakthrough priorities for mounted infantry. So that's just a straight buff. I mean, while not everyone uses like the armored car, like motorized recon and cavalry, like that's just a buff for recon, like for max speed, like so that's really nice. They changed a few other things here and there and here. I'm not going to go over all of it. There's a few things I did want to go through, like the Protect Easter Island now only targets independent nations, so nations are puppets now. Chile doesn't get a war goal on them. That's a pretty decent change. Same with like the Netherlands can now inherit Belgium and Luxembourg as puppets if they through the Benelux unification decision. So you get the Belgian Congo. I don't really think Luxembourg's going to have puppets, but if they do, you get them too. So that's pretty good. That's another good little buff. Countries at war with government exiles can no longer call to arms. So that's good. That'll hopefully fix out like Italy calling everyone to war with Ethiopia in 1940. So that should fix that. There's a few other things that are like I saw this Carlos Spain. You can now select the Habsburg Pretender with Gotterdammerung. That's cool because I'm pretty sure he has like a 1.5 recruitable manpower on his like spirit. So that honestly might be a big buff for Carlos Spain. There are also we'll go into this because I haven't looked at this yet, but they reworked Greater Indonesia and Arabia's formals. So we will be looking into that after I get through this. So stick around for that. That'll be fun. But most everything else didn't seem to be like that big a deal. Like just a lot of fixes with some fixes with MIOs and a lot of bug fixes, like tiebreakers for peace conference. So hopefully maybe like AI peace deals might be a bit better now. I'm not sure. Portugal no longer gets like civil wars and like a few tweaks to all that stuff, which is pretty good. Here's one I wanted to specifically point out. Legacy of the arms race gets removed if other participants do not exist. So this would affect the South American countries of Chile, Argentina, and Brazil. This was one I really wanted them to change because you have to go down a lot of naval focuses to remove it. It's a pretty bad debuff to your navy. And if you conquer the other nations, it should have been removed, and now it is. So hopefully this means that they're going to, like spirits that should be removed when other nations don't exist, they will fix that. I'm not sure off the top of my head of any other ones that should be like that, but there probably is, because I know this one really bugged me when the Trials of Allegiance dropped, that you could conquer, and if you're playing as one of these South American countries, you're probably doing the path where like you're uniting South America. It's pretty much the way that you make that playthrough fun. Like, yeah, you can play like as Brazil or Chile and be like a support role in the Allies, but at that point you might as well play like Canada or South Africa or someone instead who like like Canada has a pretty good tree, but like they don't have a really great expansion tree. If you know what I mean, like they have a really good historic tree that I enjoy playing, but I enjoy playing it as like a allied minor where you like build up a couple crazy tank divisions to bowl through Africa and invade Italy and stuff, or like Marines or whatever you want to do. It's a very fun nation for that, and that's pretty much if you're not doing the conquering paths as South American countries, that's basically what they are. And honestly, they have pretty fun expansion paths I'd rather do instead of playing as like an allied minor late game. That's a much more fun Canada playthrough. So this is just a good fix that they fixed that. The other one is another one that I saw that I wanted to point out was that Italy will no longer balkanize themselves after their civil war. This was just kind of a little funny one because like they'd have like, especially because the Democratic side would usually be the one that would win first, then they'd flip communist. So like there'd be like 4 Italys because like they'd puppet Tuscany or like the 2 Sicilies or something is like a democratic supervised state instead of just annexing it because they have cores on it. It's like it was just weird that they did it that way. So now like they actually fixed that. Something I noticed that like pretty good thing they fixed. Here's some more that I keep saying one more, but there's a few that I do want to talk about. This one is where like just the new states they added in Europe like weren't always compatible with like the old trees. Like Austrian occupation now gives fascist Switzerland control over southeastern Austria, and then you have the when you reform Austria-Hungary, some missing states will now work with it. Again, I've talked about it in a previous video, and I am planning on making a video on it probably soon. They really need to overhaul the state ID system at this point because this is just an ongoing problem that they really need to fix. They also fixed the Italian, like, Irredentum now giving a target of VAR instead of state in Saudi Arabia. That was an issue. That wasn't the biggest issue, but it was something. They fixed, like, an East African decision when you formed Latin Africa. Man, sometimes words are hard. Same with, like, fixing EU decisions being locked. There's just... I can't find it. I'm just kind of just sick of skimming through it, but they fixed where Turkestan got some of its like core states fixed. That was one I kind of wanted to talk about because like it's one that they were fixing. Like they fixed another thing with like the Chester concessions and the Turkish focus tree. So like this war effort was pretty, I would say pretty comprehensive. Like we saw like some changes in Switzerland, in Turkey. We're getting these fixes to the formables that we're going to look at. They actually, I think they said they changed some of the icons for formables and stuff, like added more icons or whatever. We'll see if we can notice that or not. But I really did enjoy this. Like added South Sudan effects from Restore Austria-Hungary for Hungary with Gotterdammerung not enabled. That makes sense. These are okay issues where like it's with the DLC not enabled, it causes issues. Like that stuff happens. But like I'm glad that they're fixing a lot of these issues just because like a lot of this is like bug fixes. Like there was some multiplayer ones at the beginning that were good that they fixed. There's just some like portrait issues and like spelling issues or like just typos and stuff they fixed. Those aren't super important, but you might as well fix them when you see them. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this change so far. We haven't really seen what they've done with the formable nations. That's the thing I'm really looking forward to. But I'm pretty happy with what they're doing. If they keep doing this fairly often, I think the game will get itself into a pretty good spot. I know a lot of people weren't happy with the last DLC, and that's fair. I mean, it's got some issues. I'm not going to try to defend that. But I don't think Hearts of Iron's in a bad spot. I think it's in a pretty decent spot, to be honest. And if they keep up these updates, like we see down here, where we have today with the Operation Shoulder, we have for April updates and changes to Graveyard of Empires. So we're gonna get some more change. So next month there'll probably be some decent changes to the release content. Is it all right that they really waited a month to do it? I'm not really sure, but they did do a lot. They have done like they did do 3 patches since then, which I think fixed a good amount of stuff. And hopefully this thing next month really fixes a lot of the issues, because it seems to be that like this is gonna probably be the fix, like maybe like the Afghanistan Civil War, which I'm not really a fan of, with how like the unit spawning and stuff. Maybe change, like I saw like they changed some of the stuff with like the princely states a little bit. Nothing much in this one, just tiny little things like some victory points and just like some rare issues where like if Britain decolonized and the Mughals were at war with him, like it would cause an issue. Some edge case stuff, which I'm okay with edge cases having problems, because it's like, oh well, that makes sense, it's an edge case. But when it's an actual like typical playthrough issue, not much of a fan of. I guess before we ramble on a bit more, we should try to flip over and see the changes to the formable nations. So I'll see you over there. Alright, we're back and loaded over as British and Malaya. So before we take a look, I want to just take a little guess at what I think happened. I think that would be a little fun to see if I can predict what they did. So I know before they added Portuguese Timor, like where like you get a core on it when you form the thylacracy. Like they added it where you get a core on this, but you don't need it to form it. So that was before. That's not part of this new change. So I'm assuming we're probably going to be able to get Papa, like in Kaiser Wilhelmsland. I actually forgot this got split in 2 states because with Graveyard of Empires, because this was a German colony. So I'm assuming maybe be able to get a core on these 2 states. Maybe Bismarck and the Solomon Islands. I doubt it would be on like Palau or like Saipan or any of these, but maybe. So let's take a look. So we got unify it. So let's see. Gains core on Indonesian, Malayan, Portuguese Timor, Christmas Islands, and the Cocos Islands. Alright, Christmas Islands. Is that this? No, that's Bismarck. So that's Palau. That's the Caroline Islands. I'm not sure what islands this is. Is it this? Christmas Islands and the Cocos Islands. Oh. I'm a lot more disappointed than I thought I would be. You get a grand total of 1,062 thousand people here, and 42 here for states you'll never get. That's kind of sad. I actually am quite disappointed with that change. It does get the highlight feature. That's nice. But, like I said, Portuguese Timor was already part of it, so like, yeah, that's an addition, but like, that's not much. Okay, let's switch over to the Arabia one, because this is the one I'm more interested in, but let's see if they screwed this one up or not. Alright, we're over at Iraq now. Alright, so let's see. Hopefully, I hope that like the Arabian Peninsula is like the... don't need the army. Like you would need like the Arabian Peninsula to form it, and then you can get the expansion of like North Africa. That would be bare minimum. Maybe just like Egypt is one, and like the rest of North Africa is another one. Maybe North and South Arabia are different. Let's see. Okay, unify the Arabian Peninsula. You just need all of Southern Arabia. Okay. Okay, that's not so bad. Let's actually take the time to see how this goes. Alright, so you take all of that and like you can form Arabia, so that's pretty cool. That's honestly not so bad. And this will integrate, so you do need to control that state of no, you don't need to control it, but it does give you a core on it. Okay. Actually, why? Controls Mosul. Oh, you just need to control these guys, and then you get a core on that. Oh, I like that. I can work with that. Yeah, so then like I click that. Now I have a core on here and on here, but I don't actually need to own them. I just need to own Iraq to core Iraq as well as these 2 states. That's cool. I can work. That's fine. That works out just fine with me. Okay, so what's the next one? Integrate the Levant. Okay, so the Levant's its own one. So let's mark these all over. Boop, boop, and mark all those, and we can transfer them all over. And that gives us the Levant. Okay, so the Levant's its own growing part. The western, okay, so this is all of Egypt. Eastern is Tunisia and northern Italy. Okay, this is, yep, that's Algeria here. And this is the Sahara. Oh, we do get, so they expanded it, so we do get Mauritania now. So I'll pause and see if I can get all, we'll get all the cores, and we'll take a look if it's any more than it is now or not. Alright, so that's all of them, and as I just showed there real quickly, you can integrate the states without needing the impassable desert territory. You do get cores on them, but you don't need them, so if for some reason you don't get them, it's not the biggest deal, but you don't need them to integrate it. But here's now the max cores of Arabia, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we got, like, I know Khuzestan already was added where like you get more, but now we have Mauritania and the Mauritanian desert, so it just expanded this down just a little bit. I'm pretty sure like the northern part of Sudan was already part of the formable. I don't think that's added in any new case, but it's pretty cool. So I really do like that, how they changed the formable where like you just need Southern Arabia. The only issue is that like that's a lot of British territory you need, like, but granted, it isn't as bad as needing to conquer everything, obviously, because like different parts are different factions. So, excuse me, any tiering to it is always better than no tiering, even if it's not the greatest, because like this one's always going to be just a hard one just because of how much it's all colonized land besides Iraq. So like it's probably always going to be slightly difficult, but I do like the thought that like you can, like, you just need this stuff down here and you're good. So like if you play Saudi Arabia, all you gotta do is be strong enough to just invade around you, like hold like up, like if you can hold at Jordan, make sure you, like if you take Iraq, I mean I guess they are guaranteed, so you might not want to do that, but like if you can be ready to declare war on the United Kingdom, long as you can push out Oman, take this stuff, get the ports, and then just hold in Jordan for a minute, you can core all of this and get even stronger. So like that actually might make Saudi Arabia pretty playable. A final thing I wanted to bring up was that they talked about changing some of the icons on the like the formable nations, which I believe they did. Like if we look at the Siberian one, I don't believe that looked like that. It might have, but I believe it's slightly different. Same with the kingdom. I don't believe it looked like this. I think those are slightly different. Interestingly enough, they talked about like fixing some of those issues, like changing up some of the images, and one that they didn't fix that I thought they would be the Moorish Restoration El Andalus, which is still like the Arabian picture, which is kind of funny, like considering this one, like to start out you need to conquer Spain, so you'd think it'd be like a North African Spain one, like it'd at least face this direction, but no, they left that one the same. I'm not sure if that is just because it's intentional at this point, or if they actually somehow completely did forget to change this one, even though they were messing around with some of the other ones. I couldn't tell you, but that should wrap it up for here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.